Everyone, welcome to Maximum Attack Rallying. Oh my goodness, what a weekend. I know some people aren't that into tarmac rallies, but Central European Rally was a scorcher and it delivered drama by the bucket load, so we definitely need to talk about that, don't we? Before we get into that, however, I did do a little bonus video yesterday because Cyril Abiteboul, the head of Hyundai Motorsport, has said that the team will not be building a car to the 2027 regulations, suggesting instead perhaps that they might update their Rally 2 car. So do go and check that out if you haven't watched it. I'm very grateful for those of you that have commented. I haven't responded to everyone, but I am trying, so I'm really pleased and very grateful that you're all sharing your views on that. If you're feeling inspired by my rant, I will say at this point that perhaps you should go and check out the Maximum Attack Rallying merch store, where we have a special line of Say No to Space Frames merch, along with many other rallying shirts and hats and various other things, so do go and have a look there. But let's get back to CER. I don't know where to begin, really. Oh my goodness. Do we talk about the crash that could have derailed Sébastien Ogier's title bid? Do we talk about Kalle Rovanperä winning the rally and putting himself right back in it? Or do we talk about Elfyn Evans, who turned a distant third place and into second, and a 13-point championship lead? My goodness, what a dramatic weekend. Make no mistake, this title fight is going down to the wire. Well, if you're in a Toyota, that is. While three of their drivers are ready to lay claim to the top prize, it was a weekend of capitulation, to be honest, wasn't it, for the Hyundai team? Ott Tänak did, of course, manage to finish on the podium in third place. That vindicated his decision to take the older specification of i20, which is probably bad, you know, that the older car was better than the newer car, but let's not talk about that in this video. He was overhauled by Elfyn Evans on the power stage, so he's now, despite finishing third, I think he's now a massive 50 points off the championship lead. So I mean, it's game over, isn't it, for Tänak, unless the three ahead of him have massive issues. I don't see him making up that gap. And to be honest, it was a bit of a miserable weekend for Hyundai, wasn't it, sadly? Thierry Neuville crashed out on Sunday morning, but he was only 7th anyway. He'd had a puncture, hadn't he, and done some bodywork damage over a jump, and that wasn't particularly good. Adrien Fourmeau, he looked pretty dejected at the end of the rally, I thought. Didn't seem to know where to get any pace from in that car. And I think, as I understand it, he would have preferred to take the older car as well, so he was probably a little bit disappointed by that. I think he ended up 5th, didn't he? But he never really looked like a threat. At least the other two did actually win some stages. He did not. All of that means that, of course, that Toyota sealed the manufacturer's title for the 4th time in a row. They're now only one behind Lancia on the all-time list, with 9 relative to Lancia's 10. And I mean, if you're Hyundai, you must be concerned, mustn't you? Because this was not a great rally. Yes, there was some speed, but the result did not come. And the next rally is another slippery tarmac event. So from a Hyundai perspective, this was not a good weekend. They have bet the house on Ott Tänak, and really, I mean, it's done, isn't it? You know, 50 points. But I just don't see how he can possibly make that up unless the other three basically all crash out of one of the events. So that's done, isn't it? Obviously, manufacturers is done, as I said. So, I mean, there wasn't really that much to be cheerful about, was there, in the Hyundai camp? Similarly, M Sport didn't have much to celebrate either. Gregoire Munster removed a wheel from his Puma at the same spot that Thierry Neuville had a moment on stage 5. So his weekend was really ruined before it got started. Josh McAleen, he did some minor damage on that same stage as well, but he managed to continue. So he didn't have to super rally like Munster did. I think a 5th fastest time for Munster. I don't remember which stage that was on now. That was about the best of it. Otherwise, both Pumas were the slowest Rally 1 cars of the weekend. Not great, obviously, for M Sport. You know, a lack of experience certainly didn't help from McElhenn's perspective. What can you say? You know, I think experience is still an issue for both drivers. Do we know the level that the Puma is at currently? You know, I'm sure the team at M Sport are working hard to improve it, but I believe that the development race has probably moved on a bit, and that is obviously going to give a further disadvantage. So, I mean, really, both have to just hope for a little bit better in Japan. But as I say, you know, that's going to be another potentially slippery tarmac rally, so it could be a tricky one. So, much like Hyundai, not particularly happy campers at M Sport either, I suspect. That will not bother Toyota very much, though. They will be happy overall, I suspect, though it was not perfect by any means. The big story of the weekend really was the Toyota battle, wasn't it? So, Sébastien Ogier, he was in sensational form, wasn't he, in the first half of the weekend. I predicted that Elfyn Evans would actually win the rally, which did not come to pass, and he did not either have an answer for Ogier's pace. You know, there was a 5-second penalty for Evans for hitting a chicane. That didn't help, but he never looked like winning that rally. Ogier was, you know, in fine form before that. You know, it didn't, of course, go to plan for Sébastien. He went off the road on stage 10, wasn't it, on Saturday morning. He understeered wide, went into a tree and removed a wheel from his Yaris. That ended his day on the spot. He blamed a puncture on that, on the left-hand side, was it? Yeah, left-hand side, which he said caused him to understeer off the road, hit a tree, bounced into the ditch on the other side of the road. So that was his Saturday done, and it was an issue. Obviously, the puncture would have contributed to that in a very large way. But, you know, Rovanperä was applying the pressure at this point. I think he had just nabbed the lead, hadn't he, on the previous stage. So, you know, there was a really good battle going on there. Rovanperä was definitely turning the screw against Ogier. We were denied that battle, sadly, but it has blown the championship battle wide open. So we have lots and lots to savour across the last two rounds. In terms of how it all landed at the end then, Rovanperä's win didn't actually move him out of third spot technically, but his 31 point, I think it was, tally for the weekend has put him level with Sébastien Ogier, so they are now both on 234 points. Ogier did obviously retire, but came back on Sunday. He scored top points in both the Super Sunday and on the power stage, so he got 10 bonus points, which has obviously kept him very much in it. But the big beneficiary was Elfyn Evans, who probably didn't expect it come Saturday. So he finished second overall in the rally. He was second on Super Sunday, and he was second on the power stage. So that equated to the second highest points total for the weekend. Where he isn't second, however, is in the championship standings, because he is now back at the front and turned a 2-point deficit into a 13-point advantage with just 2 rallies to go. And that just leaves such a massive question, doesn't it? Who is going to win? As I said, I backed Evans for CER, which did not come off. The top 3 were right. No, they weren't, were they? No, because Ogier crashed out. I got it wrong. I got some of the top 3 right. As I said, I backed Evans, but many would have bet on Ogier, wouldn't they, with 2 tarmac rallies. After this weekend, though, that bet doesn't look quite so safe, does it? Of course, you know, we'll get to a full preview of Japan before the event, but man, Ogier is going to have the bit between his teeth for that one, isn't he? And I think with the frustration of this weekend, he could prove untouchable in Japan. And will that be enough to win the championship, to bridge that gap to Evans? Now, that is a big question, isn't it? Both he and Rovanperä are going to have to push. They are going to have to push hard and try to win that rally. Evans is in the luxurious position of having a bit of a buffer, which means he doesn't actually need to win either of the last 2 rallies. His 13 points isn't massive. You know, he can't afford a big mistake, but it's comfortable enough that he doesn't need to win. It's interesting, isn't it? I should say, Evans has frustrated me a little bit this season. I would have liked to see a little bit more pace on the gravel round, you know, where he was opening the road. It just felt at times like he didn't really have an answer and wasn't really that comfortable in the opening road position. However, you have to say he has done such a good job of grinding out points. You know, he's looked off the pace at times and he's just kept working, kept just sitting solidly, and you know, by the end of the weekend he's on the podium, he's picked up good points. And I mean, it could be that approach is the thing that nets him that maiden title, couldn't it? And I think we have to remember that he won Rally Japan last year, so he is very well capable of winning that event. And that could be the thing, couldn't it? If he wins in Japan, it is going to be very, very difficult for someone to overhaul him when it comes to Saudi Arabia. But I think regardless of that, you know, if he can maintain a points gap similar to what he has right now, he will be in an exceptionally strong position when we go to that final round in Saudi Arabia. So it is going to be absolutely fascinating. I think, you know, the next couple of rallies, we are in for a treat when it comes to the title battle. You know, I criticise the WRC quite a lot in some of these videos. I admit that. I don't like the cars. I don't like certain things about the promotion. But when it comes to the Drivers' Championship battle, oh, it is delivering, isn't it? It is delivering in 2025. We have lots to savour over those final two rounds. A couple of other things I should just mention. Oliver Solberg was the top Rally 2 finisher, but he did not register for WRC2 points, as he's obviously already won the championship. That meant local driver Jan Cerny scored his first WRC2 win, so well done to him. CER was also the finale of the Junior World Rally Championship. That is probably worth a video in itself, because it was just as dramatic as the main event. So Sweden's Mille Johansson was crowned champion. He stole victory on the very last stage, so it was actually Taylor Gill who was in prime position. He was 7 seconds clear going into the final stage, which would have been enough for him to win the title. But Johansson took more than 8 seconds out of him to scoop victory from under Gill's nose. So massive well done to all of the guys in the juniors, really. But yes, well done to Johansson. Commiserations to Taylor Gill. Obviously, that is a heartbreaking way to lose it on the last stage there, but juniors delivering plenty of drama as well. I think, though, that is the perfect time to wrap this one up. Do let me know in the comments what your favourite moment of CER was, and perhaps more importantly, who you think is going to go on and win the championship from here, because that's the big question, isn't it? And it is a really rather tough one to call. Anyway, other than that, I will end this video there. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and all that other stuff, and I will see you again in the next one.